And whenever birds need water, they don't need drinkers in this case. Like you can see, whenever you tap the nipple, the birds are able to come. The house is really dry. There is no water spillage. And its rate of return on investment is also a short time. 6 months to 1 year. You're able to recover whatever you have invested in. A farmer is willing to spend over 300,000 to treat sick birds, when actually that money could be saved by installing such a system, and you have such dry litter. It doesn't matter even if you have 100 birds and you have one single room, we can come and install the system for you.
So they installed this system when the birds were inside here.
And it didn't affect them?
Nothing.
So last week we went to VetEquip Solutions showroom in Chengera, and I hope you've watched that video. If you've not, kindly go back and watch that video, where we met Mr. Andrew. And Mr. Andrew is the brain behind this wonderful waterline system, which is actually changing the whole game of poultry farming. And well, today we are taking it a step further. He has brought us at one of the farms where this waterline system is fully installed and it's running. And you know what's most amazing? It's in deep litter system. And of course, we are just going to understand and see how everything operates in action. Thank you for bringing me here.
Thank you for coming once again.
I'm just wondering why you chose this farm in particular.
Well, we chose this farm because it's one of our customers we have installed for. In the previous video, we tried to explain that all this is workable for every type of farmer. So this system is tailored for all categories of farmers, regardless of the number of birds you're doing. This is just a small farm, I would say. This is roughly 1,700 birds in this house. We want to show people that you can install this system at a low cost in case you don't have the resources to buy the fully automated system. So we chose this tailored to our needs. We know the level at which Ugandans operate, and we are not saying that they cannot afford the fully automated one, but at least we want to show them a system that works, that is affordable, and that they can adapt to address their water-related challenges, like we previously talked about.
True.
Yeah.
So what do we have?
So here we do have layers. We do have layers, as you see. This is a deep litter setting. You can see that we are here to talk about the water line. Yeah? So we do have lines of nipples running through the house at different sections. We do install this system using local resources, like you can see.
Yeah.
This is a pole, a normal pole, wooden pole, and then we do have pipes that we import, and then we do have the nipples. Now this is how the system is set up, and whenever birds need water, they don't need drinkers in this case. Like you can see, whenever you tap the nipple, the birds are able to come, and they are not supposed to drink from the drip cup anyway. They're only supposed to tap this nipple. So whenever they tap it, water is released, and they take in enough water, and when they leave it, the water stops coming automatically. So as you can see, the house is really dry. Yeah, there is no water spillage. If you're very observant, this is what we were talking about. These are some of the challenges that our ordinary farmers are having, the ones that are using manual drinkers. So we are actually emphasizing that everyone should embrace such a system to address their water-related challenges. So the layout will depend on the type of the house. You don't have lines crisscrossing one another. So you notice that there is some level of organization here.
Let me first ask you.
Yes.
This, before you installed this system,
Yes, please.
was the structure already in place, or you put it in place, then you put the waterline system?
The structure was already in place. So it means that you just have to have a normal standard poultry house, and then you come and then we fix for you the water line, which replaces only the drinkers, the ordinary drinkers. So you have to have a farm in the first place. Whether the birds are there or not, the birds can be in the house, or you can have the house dry, plain, like a brand new house. Then we come and install the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it looks like this is, the way they built it, it was tailored for this particular system.
Not really. It's just because that you have come today, so you think everything was actually planned. As you see, when we move along with this video, the farmer will actually give you a personal experience about how the system has been operating and where she has come from to the point where she installed this system.
We were going to install the other down one. It was empty and we wanted to put in new birds. When they toured around, they came to this one that was too wet. We could not know that they could even install this system when the birds are inside. So when they came to this one, they said, now instead of starting with the other one that has no birds, let us begin with this one. So we started with this one that had birds. So they installed this system when the birds were inside here.
And it didn't affect them?
Nothing.
So there is nothing like it was tailored for the system. It's us who actually came and did the layout. So this is what we mean when we come to do the assessment. We don't only come to look at the number of birds you have or the space you have. When we do come on ground, we are able to see the state of your structure. We are able to see how our lines will move within the house. So as you're seeing, we are not jumping over any lines.
Yeah.
You have walkways. She has walkways to put her feeds as well, and also monitor the water line to make sure the birds have enough water. So we come and do the layout, we come and assess the water source, then we come and see whether you need any filters on your water line. We come and see whether you need a pressure regulator. Those are things we do during the assessment. So viewers out there, you don't have to build a house separate or different from what you're having to have this system. The system can be installed in all types of settings that you have already on the ground. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Where is the pressure pump? I'm interested.
Well, I'm going to show you the pressure regulator. We normally fix it at the end of the line or the start of the line, and of course it has to be near the tank. So it gets pressure from the tank because I told you water flows by gravity, and then it is able to maintain the pressure in the entire line, and then also help you in the process of flushing. So we normally fix it just below the tank. So a nipple is basically composed of two things. One is the nipple itself, which is this. And then we do have a drip cap. Now this drip cap is the one that is supposed to prevent any spillages. This nipple, as you can see it, is normally placed at it's a 360-degree nipple. It means that birds can tap on it from all angles. One bird can be this side, another one this side, another one this side, and another one this side. So you can have 4 birds drinking from a nipple at a go. So what that means that if you don't have this drip cap, you will always have spillages on the ground, and that will bring about dampiness, which could also be a good breeding ground for diseases. So in this case, the nipple is just a simple component that has been summarized with a drip cap and a nipple in it. So it's not really a complicated thing. As you can see, it takes very little space compared to ordinary drinkers. So in here, you may actually think that she doesn't have drinkers. Yeah? So the birds are just taking water from the line and then feeding from the troughs.
Yeah, interesting. So last time, actually, you mentioned about these pipes. I'm wondering what kind of pipes you're using this time. Is it the one you mentioned low pressure and high flow and low flow?
Okay, in this case, we do have layers. So once we are setting their nipples, we put them at high flow. But that is not determined by the pipes. That is determined by the nipple. Okay? Yeah. So the type of pipe we have in this particular case, these are round pipes. The pipes I showed you at the warehouse, they were square pipes. So we also choose the pipes depending on the work we are going to do. So these are pipes we import with cages as well. So they are not so common on the market. They come specifically grilled with holes to accommodate these nipples. Okay. So we do have instances where we have gone on farms or where we have been invited on farms, and someone went and installed these nipples on PPR pipes. They are pipes that are normally sold in hardwares, the black ones. Now those ones are not good for these nipples. First of all, their skin is thick. It means that when you put the nipple there, it will not be able to lock very well and hold water from spilling through here, through in between the pipe and the nipple. Or if at all it locks, then the nipple does not enter very well because of the thickness of the pipe. So you have some water gaps in between the pipes. And secondly, these pipes come when they are drilled on machines. So you have all their holes in one straight line. I think this week we had a customer who watched one of the videos we did, who came with a case, and this customer told us that his nipples are facing different directions. Of course, when he mentioned that, I knew where the problem was coming from. Probably he used the wrong pipes, or the person who drilled the pipes didn't manage to get a straight line, put them in one line. So this work is not actually for plumbers of houses. And we have a problem of these plumbers seeing these videos and then they go and fidget with farmers. But in the long run, the farmers make losses. So we went and fixed that, of course. We had to make him buy new pipes. But you see that it's a cost, which is not good. But of course, at times you have to accept to learn and then adjust. So these pipes specifically come with their holes already inserted there. All we do is to dress the nipples on, and then we have a straight line. So you don't see any nipple facing different directions in this case. So there is no magic. It is because their holes are fixed with machines and they are perfect. They are not fixed by human hands. Yes.
Interesting. So actually, one of the viewers, when they watched that video, they asked, how long does this waterline system last?
I think the system can last up to 10 to 15 years. Okay. But it also depends on handling. For example, one of the reasons why we put this wooden pole on top of the plastic pipe is to avoid the birds from sitting on the waterline itself. Because when they sit there, it sags, and of course with time, the joints break, the pipe itself becomes weak. We also don't expect workers to come and sit on the pipe. So I think the handling is very important. Once you handle this system very well, then it can even last beyond the time I've told you. In the fully automated system, you will have pulleys and winches, whereby if you do not have birds in the house, for example, you've off-laid, you just raise the pipe up and then you only return it down, or you lower it down when you have a new batch. So I can assure you that the system can last a very long time. And you don't need to replace these nipples all the time. These nipples are actually, they can be disassembled and reassembled. Yeah? All of it. You can disassemble it, clean it very well, then put it back together, and then it serves the same purpose. There is nothing that the bird will do to this nipple. So you will have the system there for a very long time. And its rate of return on investment is also a short time. Maybe close 6 months to 1 year. You're able to recover whatever you have invested in. So as you can see, this system, it starts from this tank here. So when we come to do the assessment, we first of all establish where we shall put our tank. You don't have to have a big tank, because this is also another challenge that farmers think is stopping them from using the system. All you do is to have a reservoir, probably where your water is coming from. But even in the event that you don't have a reservoir, we prefer to place this tank near the exit, so that even if you feel, this is a 500-liter tank. If you don't have a reservoir where this water is flowing from to refill automatically, you can have it near the door so that the boys fill it at once. Now, these 500 liters can take you almost, for these 1,000 birds, I think it can take maybe 2 to 3 days or even 4 days without refilling. That's work spared, that's time spared to do other things. You don't have to refill all the time. So from this tank, the water flows to the pressure regulator. This is what we call the pressure regulator. And this is where we adjust the pressure of the water from. And also, it helps us in the process of flushing. Now, you know that water flows by gravity from this tank to the pipes. You cannot connect the pipes directly to the tank. The pressure will be too much, and it will also be reflected in the nipples. Whenever the birds tap the water without any regulators, then the water will just sprinkle, the way the tap operates. Yeah? So once you have this regulator, this is why we are able to have water released in droplets like this. Okay. Yeah? So you don't have to teach the birds how to tap the nipple, but you can also see it through the pressure if it is too much. It also becomes hard for the birds to tap water if the pressure is too high. The nipples will be hard. But as you can see here, it is really soft. Yeah? With a simple tap, the water is released. So the lines will run along that regulator and then go up to where we want it to end, or even deviate to other locations. Now, like in this case, we have a U-shaped line. It means that we have one regulator serving the entire house here. Yeah? Do we have a second one here? We actually have two. So we do have two regulators in this case. So this side has its own regulator, and then the other side. This also helps us to administer drugs and also flush at different intervals. So along the system, we have valves which we put at different intervals, where you can even medicate. If at all you have two tanks in the house, and maybe you want to put medicine in one tank and put fresh water in the other, we can have that provision. So the system is user-friendly by far. We normally customize it based on what we see on ground, based on what the farmer wants, and based on the structure that the farmer has. Yes, so this is tailored for every type of farmer.
So when you come to the farm, what do you really look out for before installing the system?
Okay, there are key factors we look out for. One, that you have a water source.
Okay.
Yeah? By water source we mean whether you have national water, whether you have a tank, whether you're fetching water from the boreholes. We need to know your water source.
Okay.
Yeah? Then secondly, we look at the layout, the topography of the house. Is the floor well laid out? Is it flat?
Okay.
Because you see, with this system, you cannot have valleys and hills. Yeah? The system has to run straight, in a straight line. Then we look at the number of birds in the house, because that is very important for them to have enough water. Yeah? You don't have to put few nipples just to compromise on costs. You have to make sure that the birds are receiving enough water. These are layers which are supposed to lay eggs. 70% of an egg is water. It means if they are not receiving sufficient water or enough water, then you will not have good production. Water is part of feeds, and it's normally, it's actually proven that birds take in water 2 times the quantity of feeds they are actually supposed to take in on a daily consumption program. So we look at the number of birds, we look at the size of the house, then we look at your water source. Those are the key factors.
Okay.
Yes.
How big should the house be?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
It doesn't matter. Even if you have 100 birds and you have one single room, we can come and install the system for you.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter how big the house is. It doesn't matter how many birds you have there. Like I told you the other time, these lines can run even up to the main road where we are coming from. All we need to do is to set it right, have connection in the right way, and then intervals, yeah, where maybe you can put a regulator to do flushing, cleaning. So it doesn't matter how big the size of the house is.
Flashing.
Because all farmers in the first place operate at different levels. This is a farm of this is just 1,700, but in other houses there are even more birds there. So it means that she's operating at her own scale, and then we do have even those that are operating at 500, 300, and 200, and 100. So the system is tailored for all types of small-scale farmers.
Okay.
I would maybe put it right that the system favors small-scale farmers, which is the biggest percentage of farmers we have in Uganda, and we want them to embrace this, because this is one way of growing and saving on costs that they are incurring through medication, labor, and other related wastage costs.
Okay. Of course, feedback is important.
Yes.
I know you brought me here at this farm.
Yes.
Do you think this customer is happy?
I think 100% she's happy, because not so long ago she called us to install for her another house. I think that's good response from the system. Yeah? That's positive feedback. And normally this is how we get our work. We get it through referrals, through people recommending, and this is why I told you you need to talk to the customer. The customer is the best feedback you can get from whatever you're selling.
So, how did we get to know about Andrew? Now, on WhatsApp, we have the administrator. It's called Roger Sechiunga. The chicken doctor, yes, the chicken doctor is the administrator of our WhatsApp groups. So anything concerning poultry farming, he puts on the group, so you read. So when he posted that, the information of this water system, that's when we got the numbers, yes. So we started with this one. Now, when we got this system, then slowly by slowly, the house became dry and everything was okay now. So we reduced on the number of times we were giving these birds drugs. Yes, and even another thing on those drinkers, you know you're supposed to change the water every after 2 hours. You see how we change it. And then when you put away the dirty one, then the clean water comes. So because the birds are supposed to have clean water, so every after 2 hours you're supposed to come in and change the water so that they can have clean water. But you know it is tiresome. Those ones the workers are also human beings. When you tell them people, you go and change. Someone can even change like 10 or 15, and then they go out. Now when you come, pass by, then you see this water is dirty.
We are not actually selling a product in this case. We are selling a solution to a problem. When we come to these systems, we are not after selling a nipple. I would be here mentioning prices. A nipple costs this, a pipe costs this, and this is the line we want to all farmers to adapt so that they are able to stay in business, so that they are efficient, so that they are productive. We also want them to allocate whatever time they have been putting on water, refilling troughs, washing the troughs, maybe allocate that time to other useful purposes. Yeah, because these are some of the challenges they are facing. And in Uganda, we have a problem. Our farmers actually save money where they should not be saving. Okay. And then they spend money where they should be saving. I'm not being rude. I'm trying to bring out a point here that a farmer is willing to spend over 300,000 or 400,000 to treat sick birds, when actually that money could be saved by installing such a system, and you have such dry litter. You understand? Because honestly, this is not good for breeding bacteria. If the birds are all healthy, as you can see. So this is the mindset we have to change in the farming community. Let them spend money where they are supposed to spend it, and save money where they are supposed to save it. It should not be the other way around. So this is the biggest challenge we have been seeing on farms. But of course, over time, we are now picking up and people, their mindsets are changing. And by the way, when you look even at the big farms that are now operating with these farmers as outgrowers, they are now encouraging them, in order for them to meet their demand, their standards of operation, they have to now fully go automated. I'll give you an example. We have a multinational here called KFC. They are buying birds from 2 big suppliers who also have outgrowers. For you to be able to supply chicken meat to KFC, there are standards, international standards, not Ugandan standards, where you cut a bird with a knife. The meat has to be not fiber. It has to be tender. Is it called tender?
Yeah, tender.
You understand? So for you to meet that, you should have all these systems. The birds should not be on antibiotics all through. So we are fighting all this excessive use of antibiotics by preventing diseases, by having birds taking in clean water, not falling sick all the time. And these are some of the solutions that these systems are helping you. If you want to work with these big guys, they will put some regulations. And these are some of the solutions to some of their requests. Yeah, even when you're small.
Mr. Andrew.
Yes, please.
I know you have been like not kuba for those drinkers, as who hand wash the drinkers.
Yes.
So, how do you clean this? Because someone who is used to cleaning all the time, how do you clean this system, and how often?
As you can notice, most of the nipples here are very clean, including their drip caps. But for purposes of cleaning the pipes inside, because over time the pipes develop mineral compositions, they develop biofilms, and then which could be good breeding grounds for diseases. For purposes of cleaning the pipes and the nipples, we have a solution which we use. For example, in our case, at our shop, we do sell this to our farmers that are using our systems. This is called Vesoxide solution that we do use, and then we guide them on how to flush. For example, this 1 liter mixes 100 liters of water. So it means if your tank is small, like 250 liters of water, you may need only this 1 liter to flush the entire line. So that's how we clean these pipes. And it's not done every day, like the way you do for these drinkers. Yeah, you can flush like once in 2 months. You can do it every after end of batch for those that are keeping broilers, because broilers are normally sold within 5 weeks. So it means that you're not going to flush every week. You can do it every after batch and then wait for the new batch to come. For layers, you can do maybe once every two months or once every 3 months on a quarterly basis. But you are also able to observe, maybe let me show you something. You're able to observe the dirtiness of the pipes through these joints. Okay. As you notice, the pipes are joined by joints. Yeah? So you notice that the joints are very clean. If they do have algae, algae or the biofilms is normally greenish in color. You will have all these clogged with green, and you will need to flush. So this is one way of seeing whether the pipes is ready for cleaning or whether they are dirty and you need to
actually
respond.
Speaking of which, someone mentioned that me I'm in cage system when I'm still affected by coccidiosis. Could it be the reason of flushing?
Yes, water is a very important source in causing diseases. So even when you treat with an antibiotic, you still need to look at your water source. So you have to look at the tank. Those tanks are normally cleaned, and then you also have to flush the pipes. So this also works for those in cages. So it cuts across. As long as you're using any automated water system, flushing is a must before even you administer drugs.
Mr. Andrew, how do we contact you?
Well, let me share my contact with the viewers. First of all, we have VetEquip Solutions. We are located in Kampala. You can find us at Kingsway Plaza, shop number F14. But we also have a phone contact where you can reach out to me directly through phone call or WhatsApp. It is 0775 96 6801. I'll share with you one contact because it's the business line, and I believe that you can always get me there. If I don't pick up, please, you can text and then I call back. Yes.
And of course, it's for business only. That's important.